Welcome, dearest hearts, to Sheikh Hamdan's official channel, where truth meets tenderness, and where the stories of love, loss, and destiny unfold like poetry written by the stars themselves. Tonight, we step into one of the most whispered tales of our time, a love story that captured the imagination of millions, yet ended in a silence that broke hearts across the world. It's the question that lingers in every admirer's soul: was Sheikh Hamdan's love story a fairy tale, or a farewell? From the very beginning, their connection felt otherworldly. It wasn't just a story of two people meeting, it was as if two souls recognized each other across lifetimes. Their encounters were electric yet calm, sacred yet human. She didn't see his crown, she saw his heart. He didn't see her as ordinary, he saw her as home. Together, they created a rhythm that the world could feel but never fully understand. It was more than love, it was destiny disguised as coincidence. The world saw them and believed in forever. Their story shimmered with poetry, laughter, and unspoken understanding. When they stood side by side, even the silence between them had meaning. But behind that perfection, there was something the world could not see, a storm quietly forming in the distance. Because when love meets responsibility, something must eventually break. And for Sheikh Hamdan, that breaking point was written long before they even met. He was born into duty, a life where choices were often made by destiny, not desire. Yet for the first time, he allowed himself to dream beyond what was expected. She made him forget the weight of the crown, the gaze of the world, the rules written in gold and silence. With her, he became just Hamdan, the man who could laugh freely, write sincerely, and love fearlessly. But fate, as always, is cruel to those who dare to love beyond boundaries. Their love became both his sanctuary and his struggle. The more he loved her, the more he feared losing himself between two worlds, the royal and the real. There were nights when he would stare at the stars, wondering if he could rewrite his destiny, if love could ever exist without sacrifice. She understood that conflict, perhaps too well. And though her heart ached, she never asked him to choose. She knew that if she forced a choice, she would lose him, not because he didn't love her, but because he loved his people more. There came a day when silence became their language. They no longer needed words to express their pain, the distance between them said it all. He began to write less, smile less, speak less. The world thought it was the burden of leadership, but those who truly watched closely saw something else, grief disguised as strength. He had chosen duty, but it felt like betrayal to his own heart. She, in return, chose peace, though it meant walking away from the love of her life. When she left, it wasn't with anger or tears, it was with grace. She didn't leave to punish him, she left to protect what they had. Love like theirs could not survive in the noise of the world, it was too pure, too fragile. So she turned her back not on him, but on the chaos that threatened to destroy them. And as she walked away, he didn't stop her, because he knew that to hold her back would mean keeping her imprisoned by his name. That was not love, that was selfishness. Days turned into months, and months into years, but neither truly moved on. She carried his presence like a prayer, and he carried her absence like a wound. There were nights when his poetry almost returned, when the memories of her laughter found their way into his verses. But the pain of remembrance outweighed the comfort of words. So he stayed silent, letting the world think he had outgrown that chapter, when in truth, he was still living inside it. In her solitude, she would sometimes listen to his old recitations, feeling both pride and sorrow. She had loved a man who belonged to everyone, yet who had given her a piece of himself no one else would ever have. Her love was not a regret, it was a legacy. And though she knew he might never return, she also knew that a part of him would forever be hers, hidden between the lines of poems he could no longer write. For him, every royal event, every duty, every smile carried a shadow. People saw a prince, she had seen a man, and now that she was gone, that man was fading beneath the weight of expectation. He became quieter, wiser, and more reflective. His leadership grew stronger, but his laughter softer. Sometimes, that is the cost of loving.
The world, often loud and hurried, struggles to see such beauty. But those who pause, those who truly see, recognize the depth in his silence, the poetry in his stride. They sense that his elegance is not an act but an inheritance from the divine, shaped by faith, humility, and love for all living things. It is the kind of elegance that cannot fade, for it belongs not to fashion or fame, but to the timeless architecture of the soul. And when dawn finally touches the horizon, painting the dunes in soft gold, he does not vanish with the moon. He carries its light into day. The same calm that ruled the night now shines through his words, his actions, his presence among his people. The moon may rest, but he continues to walk with its wisdom inside him, an unseen halo of tranquility guiding his every choice. To read his work is to witness transformation. The reader does not remain the same after a verse. Something within shifts, softens, awakens. Fazza's poems are not just words, they are mirrors, guiding the heart to see itself more clearly. He reminds us that beauty exists not to be owned but to be felt, that words are not cages but wings. Through his poetry, we remember that life itself is a poem, written moment by moment in the ink of experience. There were moments when the falcon would vanish into the golden haze of dawn, and people would say the prince's soul had followed it into the unseen. They would gather by the dunes, reciting his words like sacred hymns, waiting for the shadow to return. For they knew that wherever the falcon flew, Fazza's spirit flew with it, watching, guiding, blessing the desert that birthed him. Their love did not fade, it transformed. It became his strength, his poetry, his way of seeing the world. Every act of kindness he performs, every moment of compassion he shows, carries a trace of her influence. She may not stand beside him anymore, but her love remains in the way he lives, the way he leads, the way he feels. She may have left the story, but she never left his soul. So perhaps the answer is not one or the other. Sheikh Hamdan's love story was both a fairy tale and a farewell, a masterpiece of beauty and pain intertwined. It showed the world that love can exist without possession, that separation does not always mean ending, and that sometimes the most powerful stories are the ones unfinished.